So, but on the lowest level, for instance, neurons try to predict the patterns in their environment and react on them. And so the way we perceive reality, I think, can be understood like a synthesizer.
Okay.
So, for instance, when you get signals coming in from your cochlea, you don't take the frequencies of sound because neurons cannot oscillate at 20 kilohertz. Neurons like to oscillate at something like 20 hertz. Mm-hmm. So you first decompose the sound into different energy spectra, and you have little hairs in this snake-like organ, or snail-like organ in your inner ear, and they react depending on the energy of the sound at different frequencies. And they send this to the brain, and the brain is now trying to make sense of these patterns. And it makes sense of these patterns by being able to predict them. So when the sound starts, it tries to continue the sound, to know what's happening next. And when it does this, it's able to explain it. So you can do this very similar to a synthesizer. You have a few knobs, and you have an oscillator, and there's some almost random connection of circuits, and you tune them until you get the sound you want. And when you are used to your particular synthesizer, you get pretty good at this, right? And you don't only do this for sound, but you can also do this for vision. So you look for spatial frequencies, for colors, and so on, and you build lots and lots of synthesizers in your brain that are able to predict and continue these patterns once they start occurring. And once they are done with training and they don't get better, you combine the synthesizers and try to find the meta patterns, the patterns in the patterns, and across different modalities. And so you find, for instance, percepts. You realize that different sounds are related by pitch. You can explain a family of sounds by just changing the pitch between them, or the loudness. And ultimately, you get something where you unify all the simulations and all the percepts in your mind, and what you get is a cohesive simulation where everything moves around in three-dimensional space. Because it's the simplest explanation that we can find for the things that are going on in our cochlea and field of vision. And it's basically the biggest unsolved task in AI, how to do this unified model of the world. Instead of having a bunch of classifiers that react to individual feature complexes in the world, learn everything into a single function, into one universe. And this is what we're able to do, right? You try to make sense of the universe in one function. There's one way in which the reality works.
Yeah.
In some sense, the biggest step in the maturation of a mind is understanding its own nature. It's understanding how we work. And AI is the best chance that we have in finding that out.